Okay, so the thrashing continues on the Dodge Charger. Last night, stayed up late, installed the radiator. Used these little spacers to space it away from the core support because this piece of the radiator was touching there, so unfortunately I had to shim it out just a little bit. I also cut this thing out perfectly, so that way it's going to get maximum airflow through the radiator. I still would like to go through here and add some sort of squishy, foamy stuff to block any airflow from trying to go around the radiator. I want to kind of direct every bit of air through this radiator that we can, and that way, you know, hot air doesn't get through these gaps and recirculate through the radiator. It'll just make it more efficient that way. So that's the plan there. We got it all hooked up, the line's all hooked up. It's pretty easy to get wired. It has one positive and one ground that go directly to the battery, and then this computer is all standalone, so it takes care of itself. It has a sensor right on the top. Delta PAG figured this out, so that's going to be really easy to do. But today, I'm working on this cage. Here's the current situation. I'm about 45 minutes into welding on this cage, and as you can see, it doesn't look very straight right now, does it? Well, this is the process that it takes to get the cage actually in straight and welded and all the spots where you would normally not be able to get a welder. So I always wondered how this worked. Thankfully, Dakota from Native Engineering came over yesterday, and he actually gets the credit for putting this cage all together and cutting all the tubes and making them fit like that. So I'm doing the easy part today. I'm just welding everything up. He kind of told me the step-by-step on how to get this cage welded in there. So hopefully I can remember. He's not available for the next 3 more days, and the glass guy comes tomorrow. So this has to get welded today. I have no choice but to do it myself. Olivia's out of town right now, so it's just me in the shop today, and I'm gonna show you how this thing turns out, like, in all honesty. Like, here's my weld. I'm just using the MIG welder. That ain't that pretty, but I think it'll hold. So this is what's going on this morning. And then here's this side. So I gotta buzz up this area here. And right now the cage is like this because there's a couple holes that I dropped the cage through down there. And then after I weld up all of this stuff here on the top sides where it's all hard to get to, I'll pull that cage back up from the bottom. It's right here, sticking through the floor. And then we'll put this plate back underneath it right there and weld that all up last. And then the kickers are going all the way to the back. As you can see, they're back here, and Dakota opened up this hole better so that way that can run through where it needs to. And then after all this is done, we're going to make a couple bars that are going to go in the inner fender and to the front of the frame there to really strengthen up the front end of this car. So I guess I'll get the time lapse going, and you guys will watch me assemble a roll cage for my very first time on a 1968 Dodge Charger. All right, so I got all the top parts welded, all the parts that are almost impossible to get to if the cage was up where it needs to be. So let's go around this way and I'll show you the welds. Now, I'm having to heat up the metal a little bit with this torch just to get it hot before I start welding, because to be honest with you, this welder is, I wish I had a 220 welder. Someday I'll get one. But I need all the penetration I can get with this welder. So I think that's decent. Looks like it's biting in there. Oh, you guys saw that one already. Let's go to the other side. Let's go see. This side, I don't think turned out as good. But we're gonna take this to it and see what's underneath. There it is. Let's see what we got. Probably shouldn't have drank all that coffee earlier because I noticed I was shaking quite a bit. For one, I'm nervous, and then two, the coffee. Let's see this one. Let's see this one. We getting penetration there? I think so. Looks like it. So that's good. You know, we need function here and safe. You know, if it doesn't look that great, like I'm okay with that. And besides, I did it myself. I mean, how often can you say you welded a cage in a 1968 Dodge Charger? The next step is going to be to get the back side of this cage all lifted up through these holes here, and then slide these plates back underneath them and make sure we get this whole halo section where it needs to be aligned, because then we're going to go ahead and start buzzing up the fronts here and around this plate. Same thing around this back plate here. And that, I think, should set the tone for the rest of all the tubes. And then it's just going to be a matter of me aligning all these where they need to go and tacking them into place and then final welding them. I'm surprised this hasn't caught fire yet, actually. This is wool, but I took it outside and I wet the whole blanket on the top side with water, so it's working for now. I was going to go to Home Depot and get one of those welding blankets, but that would take about an hour of my time, and we need all the time we can get here. So let's go. We're going to pull this up, put the plates underneath and weld it up. Oh, dang, guys, I almost got ahead of myself here. I need to paint this before we put this back up, at least on this side, because we're not going to be able to get paint up there. So I almost made a big mistake. So let's go get the rattle can and take care of that. Rattle can, where are you? I think it's over here in the parts room. No. What the hell is it? Must be over here. Oh, here it is. This is good paint right here. All right, that doesn't look too bad now with paint on it. I think I've seen worse before. Okay, we got all of these spots, which is good because we'll never get the chance to paint them again up here. So even these spots as well in here, because that's gonna get tucked up there. So, all right, looks pretty even. Okay, now it's time to slide these plates back underneath the cage. So I gotta lift this up from this side. Here, and slide these underneath. Let's see if I can do this by myself. I'll just lift it up like this. Come on. Oh, shoot, that's heavy. And then I gotta slide that piece underneath it somehow. Yeah. Come on. Get under there. Ow! Kick it underneath. There, that'll hold it for now. And I'll come on over to the other side. I'll show you. Let me show you. So, lifted it back up, slid that plate underneath. And I'll do the same for over here. Got this plate, it's gonna go underneath, like so. Okay, I think we could do this. Feeling a little bit more confident right now. All right, so we got the main section all welded in and tacked on the bottom for now. I just want to make sure that these other bars that go from here to here actually fit, and also the door bars fit before I fully weld all that in, because once that's in there, if it's the gap is too far from here to here and that bar that Dakota cut for me yesterday is too short, well, then I'm kind of screwed. So we want to make sure that that fits first. And funny enough, the dash that we just made the other day clears perfectly on this side and on the other side. It's the same gap. It's kind of wild how that worked out. Now, I forgot to mention, this is a prefabricated cage. So although it did come with a lot of the cuts and everything, it still didn't fit very well. So Dakota had to customize the whole thing, you know. I mean, obviously he didn't do any of the bends. The bends are how they came from S&W. So this is what we get. But so far it's looking good. This is going to be kind of like a POV style video. I don't got time to edit and cut stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe you guys will like it. Driver's side. So tie in. All right, so I'm assuming this goes here, because that's cut like that. Dang, he did a good job on that. So this goes here, goes down there, ties in right there like that. That gets tacked down there, and then this must be the other side. Yep. Wow. Oh. Dang it. All right. Oh, my wrist is hurting so bad. I know I need to go to the doctor, but I'm afraid if I go right now, they're gonna tell me to put like a cast on or something, and then, well, this ain't gonna be able to get done. So I'll wait till after the event to go to the doctor, because this ain't getting better. It's been 3 months. Alright, my welder stopped welding. The wire stopped coming out, and I'll show you what happened. We got a major breakdown. We got a bird's nest. I was welding and then the wire just stopped coming out, so I grabbed a new spool to put a new spool in there, but looks like we just have some sort of tangle going on. So hopefully I can just fix this and continue. Uh-oh. That thing looks bent. Hopefully everything's okay. Alrighty, I got the main section all welded in. Everything is welded all the way around here. And a lot of the welding was around these pads. Like, that took a lot. But we got everything welded around. I stitch welded it every, few inches, or where I thought it would be best. It's turning out pretty good. I like how this bar is on the same plane as the roof line. And same with the other side. So things are shaping up here. This is the bar that I'll be putting in next. This goes right here. Excuse me, it's hard to film and do this at the same time. But that's gonna go there. And then I believe I'm supposed to put this sidebar in last. And this is gonna go butt up against that and lay right there. So as you can see, it's starting to take shape. And then after I'm done with that, then these bars, I'll weld them up to the top here. And that'll be most of it. Oh, one more bar is gonna go across from underneath the dash here, straight across to the other side. And then we'll be done. All right, all of a sudden the welder started acting up. I came over here and we're out of gas. So that's gonna be it for today as far as the welding goes. I'll go grab some more tomorrow when they open. But we got a lot of the cage welded in here today and it looks pretty dang cool for a prefabbed cage at least. You know, there's kind of a gap here. It's not real tight, but that's what happens when you buy these prefab cages. They're not 100%, but not bad. I'm pretty happy with it. So this is the last joint that I have to weld up here, and then the two kickers to the back, and then the front side of the cage will be complete. Monday, Dakota's gonna come over and bend a couple bars that will attach to here and then run up to the front part of the frame on the inside of the fender so you don't see them in the engine bay. And then that'll be it for the cage. But as far as for the rest of the day and the night, I'm gonna work on the cooling system, get this thing flushed out, wire up the radiator, maybe even look into some electrical tonight, start wiring up for our rear brake lights and headlights and blinkers. Still plenty of work to be done around here. All right, we got the car outside. Gonna do some work on the cooling system. I gotta put in my thermostat since it didn't have one before, but I kind of ran into an issue. So there's the thermostat. Here's the thermostat housing that we had on. It's a dash 16. It's a 2-piece billet, expensive billet piece. And that sandwiches over. There's an O-ring that goes on there. Nice, okay. Well, it doesn't fit over the thermostat. I'll show you. Hold on. So this is supposed to go over, and it doesn't because it hits on this. These arms here are hitting on the inside of that. So I'm not too sure why they sell this for a Mopar if it doesn't fit. I'm wondering if I can just grind two sides here without going too far and making a hole in the side of this thing. I think we have enough material to safely do it. But yeah, these are the type of little projects that take a lot of time, and there's probably hundreds of them. So I don't know if we will finish this in time, but I will do everything in my power to try. All right, so I took my little CNC machine here and machined out a couple sides of it there. And that's just enough clearance for this thing to fit in there. Now it's directional, but I don't want to hog it out all the way around just for that. I mean, I'm going to be the only one working on it, so I'll know not to sandwich that down and like smash up the thermostat later on. So this should do the trick. Alright, we're doing some cooling system checks. The engine's idling at 850 RPM right now. And the fan is about to turn on. There we go. It's at 190 right now. It's in low speed on both fans. But as the speed, if the temperature increases, the speed goes up. It's already starting to drop the temperature down. of the fans are decreasing as the temperature's starting to drop as well. So even on medium speed, it's dropping that temperature down. Pretty cool. My only concern is the oil pressure. So we got about 15 20 psi at idle. I don't know, seems a little bit low. Slightly concerned, but man, this thing sounds good. Fans are off now. Some major rattling though on this front fender. So I'm pretty happy with the way that the fans and the radiator are pulling the temperatures down on this engine pretty quickly and in low to medium speeds. When it gets into high speed, this thing gets cranking some air out. So I'm pretty confident in the cooling system right now. I'm happy with that. I did rev the engine up and like I did a quick blurp of the throttle and it backfired, so I know we're gonna have to do some work to the accelerator pump here, and there's gonna be a little bit of tuning, but it's really not that bad. It's only if you whack it super quick. And what happened was when it backfired, it blew off the back of the there's a little port back here for vacuum. It blew off that little cap that I had on there, and it went into high idle, and I was a little concerned for a bit because I thought I blew the power valve out of it. But then I found that cap was just chilling right here on the back, so I put it back on there. You can see right there, that black cap right here, and the high idle went back down. So all in all, the engine seems pretty good with the exception of that oil pressure being slightly low. Now I do know that with these big blocks and you have big clearances on the bearings and stuff like that, you know, they're gonna hemorrhage a lot of oil out, and it's going to, you know, there's big clearances in big motors. So I don't know exactly what's too low of oil pressure at idle, but 15 is about where I would like it to be, like the least. That's about the minimum that I want it to be at. I have the feeling once this engine gets even hotter, that pressure is going to go even lower, so that's a little concerning. Let me know what you guys think about that. Anything I could check on this motor. When it's cold, it has pretty high pressure for the oiling system, but then once it gets hot, it starts to drop down, and I know that's pretty normal, but 15 psi, I don't know. It's going to be another late night for me, guys. I was up till 3 a.m. last night, and looks like it might be the same thing tonight. So we got the car up on the lift. One thing I want to tackle tonight is the drive shaft hoop. So it's contacting the exhaust right here. And also, when you set the car down and we put a bunch of weight in the back to simulate hitting a big bump or jumping the car, it actually was very close to touching the top of the drive shaft hoop. I don't know if you can see up there right now, it's kind of dark, but the drive shaft is hitting the drive shaft hoop, loop, whatever you want to call it, at the top. So we gotta somehow make more clearance up there and make more clearance here. So I have the feeling that vise in my torch may be getting some use tonight. Alright, I just got the exhaust tips removed, pulled out the front section of the muffler system, and quickly realized this isn't a job that I really want to do right now. I got one chance to do this right because I have a lot of other things to do. But in order to take this hoop out, I got to take the whole drive shaft out. So I don't want to be doing this over and over. and also I gotta film at the same time. So let's just get this done right, get it over with, check it off the list, and never have to look at it again. And also, Olivia, I could really appreciate your help right now, because we got these that are like a locking nut, and I can't be inside the car to hold the top end of that and loosen the bottom here at the same time. So I guess I got to get some sort of vice grips or something. Maybe I can put a vice grip there and it'll rotate and hit that trans tunnel. All right, guys, we're going full POV in the shop tonight. Vice grips, I could never open up the correct drawer the first time or the second time. Vice grip. Oh man, sometimes I wonder why the heck I do this. Build these cars and stay up late and wear my body down. Just, I don't know. I just can't stop. Just can't stop. I guess wow, I nailed that the first time. Let's see if that rotates the way we need it to. All right, where did my impact go? Here we go. I lose tools all the time, guys. It's another thing that's great about how Olivia and I work together. She keeps tabs on me, and she knows where all the tools go that I lose. Alrighty, there's one. We got 3 more to go. Up. Alright, moving on to the passenger side. Let's get this clamp on. I'll go back under the car again for the 1000th time today. Ugh. So let me know if you guys like seeing this part of the build where we just work on stuff, because apparently like some people really like this kind of stuff. But I don't know if there's enough people that like to see this. Did I put that on the inside or the outside? I think the inside. Let's see. Oh, maybe the outside. Yep. See, this is where I need Olivia. So yeah, let us know if you guys like this kind of filming. We're working on stuff. A lot of people have said, like, how come you guys don't film the work that you guys do? It's really hard, and quite honestly, I just don't know if there's that many people interested in seeing all this part of it. Come on. Oh, that's my hand, that hurts. So let us know if this is what you want. We can do it. You guys can get dizzy watching me work on the car. Now I got to take the drive shaft out for the 10th time and spill oil everywhere, I'm sure. Dang it. Let's get these bolts back up through there. See, yeah, I mean, it probably takes a special person to watch all of this stuff, like the actual work. And I don't know if there's enough of you out there to get like a lot of views on the videos. So that's kind of why we've been just showing like major progress and stuff like that, and not so much of the dirty work, because we think maybe there's more people that are interested. Like for instance, my mom couldn't watch this. She doesn't want to watch me take out bolts and bend this drive shaft hoop and all that. But so is there more people that are out there like my mom that like to watch us for adventuring and, you know, finishing cars and driving them and doing stuff? Or are there more people that like to see us work hard and grind and stuff like that? I don't know. But let's take these bolts out. Sorry guys, I'm not in the greatest mood right now having to do this job, but it's what's going on and it's what has to get done, because you know, if you want to be successful on a drag and drive, all these mechanical things matter. The car really wasn't hitting the hoop until it got like pretty low to the ground, meaning like you'd have to pretty much jump the car, hit a really huge bump. But when you're out on the road, trust me, you encounter things you would never have expected. So there's no excuses. This has to get done. We got to make sure we're able to jump this car, and you know what I mean, and lift it up, and it's not going to hit the hoop no matter what. Okay, I got the drive shaft bolts out, and I quickly realized after putting the pan down there that I actually don't have to pull that out of the transmission and make a mess. So that's kind of nice. I don't know what I was thinking, but that's a win. This is where it was hitting. You see right there, that corner? It's hitting our beautiful exhaust system right there. So I can do a couple things. I could try to put this in the vise and smash this up. This is pretty strong material, pretty thick. It's gonna be pretty hard to do. But also I need to make the top of this not so perfectly round. It needs to be more like a cone on the top. So I'm not too sure how I'm going to do that, but maybe if I put it in the vise, squeeze it down this way, theoretically this should go up. Theoretically the whole thing should squeeze in this way, but if it squeezes in this way, then these two tabs are going to go up and they won't be parallel with the floor, so then I'll have to bend those back down. So we'll see. We'll fight with it. Probably not going to film a whole lot of this, so because it's just going to be too much of a pain in my ass. All right, this is the setup. Not sketchy at all. Let's see what happens. Better put some safety glasses on. Oof. It's doing something. Okay, we definitely squished it down in the press. As you can see, it's more oval now instead of round. And I actually traced this piece out before I put it in the press, so you can see how much clearance we've gained. That's almost 3/4 of an inch. That's plenty, because it was I was very close to just leaving it in there, honestly, but the way that it was. But you know, I would have a tough time sleeping. So here we are. We created another problem. These little wings are not straight anymore, parallel to the floor. So we'll have to put that in the vise and straighten those out. I already got this thing set up. Plan is I'm just gonna put it in between these two guys, like so. Raise this whole thing up, push down on it, and straighten those out. Look centered to you. Okay. Actually, you know what? That might not work. We're gonna have to adjust this a little bit more. See how they sprung back? So what we're gonna need to do actually is spread these out just a little bit more. This one too. So that way it has room to bend the opposite way for a little bit until it springs back and then it's straight. So Let's get to be looking at it in real life. This is probably how you get hurt. Oh, that's not centered. Okay. We'll just ignore that for now. Let me stand back a little bit. Okay, let's see what happens. All right, a couple hours later, and we have a well-clearanced drive shaft loop. As you can see, there's the gap there between the exhaust now. It was a lot closer than that before. It was almost touching. So we should have more than enough clearance now for it not to touch. And then on the top, if you could see up there, there's no light between the loop and the tunnel. Before there was quite a bit. We gained probably, I'd say about at least a half of an inch, which is quite a bit. That'll give us enough room to jump the car later. And now I can continue on and put the exhaust system back together, get that up in there. And on Monday, Dakota's coming over to weld on some hangers. So we'll have that all finalized on Monday. It's Wednesday right now, Wednesday night. Well, Thursday actually, because it's midnight. And I think I'm gonna move on to next working on the power steering. The power steering, when I turn the wheel all the way to the left, it feels like there's some air in the lines or something, and I can't get it out. So I'm not too sure what's going on there. I'm gonna have to read up on some directions and figure out how to get air out of this rack and pinion. I've never dealt with rack and pinion before on a classic car. So we'll do that next, and then after that, if I still got some energy, I'm gonna go for the electrical system and wire up that Delta Pack fan properly. I started looking online, realized most people are using ATF. People say if you use power steering fluid like I did, you'll have issues. So I'm not too sure. Some people say they're running power steering fluid on these Mustang 2 front rack and pinions. But I'm gonna change it over to ATF, see if that makes a difference. Some people said if you use power steering fluid, it'll actually blow out the seals. So I kind of want to get this out of here right now. When you're searching the internet, you never really know who's telling the truth and who's not, but sometimes you just have to do a lot of research and figure out, you know, there's like 60 or 70% of people saying ATF, and 30 or 40% of people are saying power steering fluid, and most of the people were saying that they put power steering fluid in and it blew out the seals and stuff, and nobody said that if you put ATF in it blows out the seals. So I'm gonna go with the ATF right now. So I'm gonna loosen up the discharge line here on the rack right here, and of course it wants to spin the whole thing, so I better put a backup wrench on the bottom. Okay, let's see if I could do this one-handed. See guys, this is why it's hard to film working, because you gotta concentrate and film at the same time and not spill, but get the view. There we go. Look at the camera, make sure I'm getting the framing correct. We'll try not to spill. It's filling up now. It's coming up. It's coming up. And that's probably about the fill level, but I'm going to go a little bit above that because I know that the rack still is going to need some. Very nice. Okay, well, we got the fluid all swapped over to ATF, and I raised the car up in the air, moved the steering wheel right and left a bunch of times, and I could actually feel a difference when the fluid started going through all the lines and everything. I could feel it getting tighter, and I thought that might be it, But I backed the car out, turned it on, and turned the wheel right and left. For some reason, when I turn the wheel to the left, it's like a vibration in the steering wheel. So I don't know if there's air on that side for whatever reason, but we got to get it out. I pulled the car back inside and I popped the cap off, and it was actually a little bit of air bubbles still in there, a little aerated. So I'm gonna let it sit overnight and see what happens tomorrow. And unfortunately, I looked over here and there's a little bit of water coming out of this $85 thermostat housing with an AN and an O-ring. Somehow it's leaking after it didn't even fit. So that's kind of frustrating. I'll have to deal with that tomorrow to get that leak sorted, and of course fix the power steering, go get more gas for the welder in Oxnard, and then finish welding the cage in. And I have to wake up at 7 a.m. to meet the glass guy here. He's gonna put the windshield in and the rear glass in. It's already 1:30 in the morning. We've been working all day since 8 a.m. So another late night, and we made some good progress. We got this cage all in there, pretty happy with it. Got the radiator sorted, wired up, and the exhaust system cleared, and we're still battling with a few of the gremlins, but all in all, one step at a time. But we'll see if we make this drag and drive. We got exactly a week left to finish this car, so hopefully we can do it. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you liked this kind of video where we're just showing the mechanics of it and getting down and dirty. Let us know for sure in the comments, because we might do some more stuff like this. It's a little tough to film, but we can make it happen. All right, guys. See you.